My new book, Facts That Aren't True, is out now. Don't forget about my other book, Rational Answers to Stupid Questions. Click the link in the description now. The story of the woman caught in adultery, that's in 0 manuscripts until the 1200s.
No, because you don't have the original manuscripts. The earliest manuscripts you have are like the 3rd century. You don't have the first.
Yeah,
and
it's
second
not
century
in any of those.
Right, it's not in the 3rd century manuscripts, but it might have been in the 1st and century ones that are now lost. They might have had it back then. They might have had the 1st and 2nd century manuscripts that contained the story.
Of course, literally anything is possible, but does that actually make sense as an explanation, or is the idea that somebody made it up make better sense? Or like we can say that, well, there was this tradition that people passed that story around, and that's a plausible explanation, and they just decided to add it more than 1,000 years after the event supposedly took place. That's also fine, but none of that gives me any confidence to think that it ever happened.
So your argument for the existence of that added text in John chapter 8 is that a few hundred years later, everybody started adding that section in there just because, and nobody questioned it. The people who stand on the fact that Scripture is all true and historically accurate, those people all said, this is fine. We're just going to ignore the fact that you guys added this, and we're going to add it too. And nobody questioned it. Nobody wrote against it. That's absurd. They only would have done it
because we know that happened. The Johannine comma isn't original, but it was put into Bibles, and then people later said we should probably take this out.
That's the exact same argument I'm making about this. In the 1st and 2nd century manuscripts, which they had and we don't, it might have been present, later taken out as potentially questionable, and then later re-added when they examined the original 1st and 2nd century manuscripts and found that it was there. It's true. It's a reasonable argument for both cases.
I don't know if you were talking about the woman caught in adultery or the Johannine comma when you said that, but the facts are we have early manuscripts from like the 300s and the 400s, the Vulgate, whatever one the Vatican keeps locked up, the Alexandria. I can't remember what the manuscripts are called, but whatever. I'm sure you know about them. None of them contain that story. It can't be found in any partial or complete manuscript until like the 1200s. So obviously we don't have every single manuscript that was ever written, but why would we? So you can argue that it's in some lost manuscript. Sure, literally anything is possible. But is that the inference to the best conclusion? I don't think so.
I think it's a stronger argument than the idea that some people just added it and literally nobody questioned it. Especially when the context of the New Testament is that truth is important, and the truth of these events and the accuracy of these events is important. They stress that in the Gospels. They literally stress that. Luke stresses it, for example, in the beginning of his Gospel. He says, I've investigated these things thoroughly, and here is my account. So if you have that principle as a core to Christianity, you're not going to have people just adding stuff and nobody batting an eye and saying, wait a minute, hold up.
But if they believe it to be true, then they have the grounds to add it if they want.
No, because all of Christianity would be in an uproar. You just added something, and the Bible clearly says don't add stuff to it.
The Christianity has been in uproar. You guys and Protestants agree and disagree on which books should even be considered canon.
Well, yeah, obviously there's the concept that several people 500 years ago decided to just randomly take out books because they didn't want to stop sinning.
Well, you guys decided to randomly change the Nicene Creed.
No, we didn't. We added something into that.
Yeah, you added something to it. There you go. So this is completely acceptable.
It was implicitly present the whole time, but there was no need for it to be there.
According to you, it was implicitly present the whole time. According to somebody living centuries ago, well, it's implicitly true that this is something that should actually be part of the gospel or whatever. So I'm going to add that in there.
No, because the Filioque is supported by the Bible and is a logical conclusion to what's already in the Nicene Creed.
According
The
to
Holy Spirit
you.
proceeds from the Father and the Son is clear as day in the
Yeah,
in the New
according
Testament.
to you. And
As a
according to
convert,
Protestants, who apparently aren't really Christians, it's not so obvious. So who are the real Christians?
They're not
It's
the
very
ones arguing
convenient that, according to
Orthodox.
you guys are the real Christians.
No, I'm saying we preserved the unbroken truth from the first centuries.
According to you.
No, literally.
Even though you
Protestants
deliberately changed the Nicene Creed, which created like the basically modern concept of Christianity, because there were like significant disagreements about the nature and divinity of Christ and all that. So
Those are
you guys,
four
you say,
things.
you make these, they're kind of arguments from authority. Oh, show me an early church father that thought blank, blank, or blank. And yet when these, in the Nicene Creed, it was a couple hundred years into the whole thing, but they decided this is the Nicene Creed, this is the official doctrine. And then you guys change it in the year 1066.
Do you realize you just said like several incorrect facts and then used them as a foundation for